When something is being restored, it means that the thing used to exist, but because of one reason or the other has ceased to exist. Therefore, to restore is to bring back, re-establish, and recover. Health is the state of being free from physical or psychological disease, illness, or malfunction. That is, a state of complete wellness. If you are only well in the body and your psychological state is not sound, then it can be said that you are not in good health. Therefore, it encompasses all your physical and mental wellness, while wealth is referred to riches and valuable material possessions in great amount or abundance. Both health and wealth are given by God, and having them is a great blessing indeed. But they could be lost too when some things are not right, and God alone can restore them to you. Your health can deteriorate due to your negligence. When you don't take care of your body by eating good food, exercising regularly, when you worry too much, or when you allow anxiety to take you over. Or it could be some spiritual attack on your health. The good news about this is when they're lost and all the efforts of getting them back have failed, God can restore them. He alone can bring back your health in even a better condition than before, and your wealth in a greater measure than the former. One beautiful attribute about God is that when He restores anything, He does not restore it to the same way it was before. He restores it to a state far better than that. God was telling the Israelites through the prophet Joel that they should not worry. He will restore everything to them. Joel 2 verse 23 to 26 say, "Be glad then, you children of Zion, and have joy in the Lord your God, for He gives you food in good measure, making the rain come down for you, the early and the late rain as at the first. And the floors will be full of grain, and the crushing places overflowing with wine and oil. I will restore to you the years which were food for the locusts, the plantworm, the field fly, and the worm, my great army which I sent among you. You will have food in great measure, and give praise to the name of the Lord your God, who has done wonders for you." From this, it can be said that their wealth was lost. The grains, the vines, and the oils are a representation of their economy, because they are economic goods, and this has a direct effect on their wealth. But God came through for them and assured a restoration of all the years that have been lost. Restoration of all the years is not a small deal. It's a great one, and no wonder He said, "You will have food in great measure." That is our good God for you. He can never restore in small measure. Have you lost your wealth due to some unforeseen government policy that was made, or an investment that crashed? Don't worry, there's a God of restoration that will restore all and more. He's done it before, not just for one person, but for the whole nation of Israel. Therefore, yours cannot be different. If He can do it before, then He can do it again. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He doesn't change. He will restore to you all your years of labor without profit or reward to show for it. All the great business deals and investments that just as if it had been a waste of time and resources, He will restore them in great measures. Maybe the crashing of your business, investment, and or organization came suddenly and as a shock to you, and because of that, your health has been affected too, either directly or indirectly. God will restore your health too. Any illness that has crept in because of the loss of your wealth and has made your health bad, God will restore both your health and wealth. He does complete work. He doesn't work halfway and stops. People will rejoice with you once again, and you'll be back on your feet because God will restore, and no one can deny that you're restored indeed. Job was the wealthiest man in the East in his days. He was blessed with family, good health, and security as well. God trusted Job. He was proud to declare him his servant. God permitted Satan to test him, just to prove to Satan that Job's love and fear for him were genuine. Job was tested, and indeed he lost everything, his wealth and health, including all his children. There was no hope for him. His case was so critical that his wife just told him to curse God and die. But in all, Job never sinned against God. And then, when the time of the test was over, God restored the wealth and health of Job. God blessed him wonderful child hands several years added, such that he saw his fourth generation. Everything was restored double-fold. Maybe you're in your time of testing too. Life is not always a bed of roses. What you're passing through is only a phase and a moment that will soon end, because the God of restoration will step in. Don't give up on yourself and God. He will restore to you all that was lost in double-fold. Job's sickness was so bad the dogs went to lick his body. It was so irritating, but when God restored him, his skin became very fresh once again. Naaman was a great man, a captain of the Assyrian army, but he was leprous. He was not even an Israelite, but God restored his health through prophet Elisha. His skin became as fresh as that of a little child. Don't hold on to that doctor's report, because there is a God that restores. Let him restore, because he is ever willing to do so. The widow of Elisha's servant was in great debt, and her debtors were ready to take away her sons, but she cried to her late husband's master, Elisha, for help. He asked her what she had, and she said only a jar of oil. Then he told her to borrow more vessels, as many as she can get, and pour the oil inside. She did so and had a great deal of oil until she could not get more vessels again. God, through the prophet Elisha, restored wealth to this widow. She was able to pay her debtors and had much more to sell. Her sons were no longer collaterals anymore. When God wants to restore you, it doesn't matter the little you have or if you don't have it all. He is not limited by human resources. Therefore, don't look at yourself and judge God's ability by your disability. All you've got to do is have faith in Him and believe that what He said He will do, He will bring it to pass. The widow didn't argue about the instruction with Prophet Elisha, but rather obeyed. So also, you have to believe God for what He said. He is set to do and watch it come to pass in your life. Jesus, when He walked the earth, did great signs and miracles. He healed all those that were sick and oppressed of the devil. No one came to Him that He didn't heal. Whatever it was, even those born with infirmities received their healings. A woman suffered the issue of blood for a whole 12 years. She'd spent all her savings, investment, income and all, but to no avail. She suffered from her case so much that she was tagged the woman with the issue of blood. Her name was never known and she was identified with her problem, but beyond the doctor's report, she believed that health can be restored to her. And yes, she got her healing. It doesn't matter the number of years that you've been moving from one hospital to another, because God can restore your health in an instant. The layman at the pool of Bethsaida had been there for 38 years. And when Jesus saw him, He never told him that it was too late for him. The man was older than Jesus on earth, but he received his healing. When it comes to restoration, age does not count. Even if you are suffering from a sickness or illness that you've been told is hereditary, Maybe your parents or any of your relatives have battled or are battling with such sickness. Don't let that take away your faith and belief that God can restore health. Yes, God can restore health to your lineage. He can rewrite the health history of a generation, and He will. So also is wealth. If your parent had lost it for years now, wealth will be restored to your family, and your generation will no longer be associated with poverty. Jesus didn't only heal physical sickness. He healed all those that have emotional issues too, like the Samaritan woman, Mary Magdalene, in which He cast out 7 demons, and so on. Their cases were not that of a physical wound or infection on the body, but the sound mind was restored to them. Their lives became worth living. Your case cannot be too great or greater than the power of God. He will restore your health to you. Your wealth is not an exception. Wealth is a blessing and a gift from God, and He said in His word that He will not withhold any good thing from His children. Therefore, get ready for the restoration of wealth to yourself, your family, and all that concerns you. The amazing part is Jesus said, all that He has done, greater will be done. So hold on to that and watch as great health and wealth are restored to you.